My baby farted or something blew up in Great Point.
You know what? Speaking of things that smell horrendous, the other day I had one armpit stinking. By the end of my day, what the fuck is up with your deodorant failing on one side? If it's gonna fail, let it fail evenly.
Personally, I blame the person who applied it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
that
could be operator's failure. Also, you might have some sort of fucking lymph node illness. Only one fucking pit is making that not.
But are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm righty.
And which one?
It was the right arm.
So you go, because you got...
Yeah, there wasn't enough vigor in your...
You have to kind of do one of these.
That side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, because that would be better.
Next time I'm just gonna sit there with the axe like...
Wait, do you use roll-on or you use spray?
No, I spray.
Really?
Yeah.
And use axe?
Yeah.
Even he knows
That was probably the most classic scene ever. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the basement. Keith DeCandido joins us today, the author of Farscape from Boom Studios.
Yes.
What's that about?
It's about Farscape. No.
Okay.
Farscape was a TV show that aired on the Sci-Fi Channel from 1999 to 2003. They did a follow-up miniseries in 2004 called The Peacekeeper Wars, and the comic book picks up after The Peacekeeper Wars.
Okay, so this is actually a direct sequel from the TV show. This
yes.
is, so what season would it be?
Season 5.
Like Buffy, like they did with Buffy.
Exactly. We took our cue from the Buffy and Angel comics that Dark Horse and IDW were doing.
Which works.
Which, yeah, that's been working really well. And like those comics, the creator of the show is involved in directing the storyline. Rockne O'Bannon, the creator of Farscape, is plotting these stories, and then I'm writing the scripts based on his plots.
How far have you gotten with it? Is it, you know, you're going well into season 6 now? Season 7?
It's hard to judge exactly how it works in those terms. I mean, we're about to enter the 3rd year of doing the comics.
Okay.
So for the first year, we did 4-issue miniseries. Because we weren't sure. You know, the show had been off the air for 6 years. Right. We didn't know if there was even going to be an audience for it.
Want it, yeah.
Yeah. Turns out there was. The first issue sold out in a day.
And if I've learned one thing about geeks, we don't let things go easily.
No, and Farscape fans are particularly, the show didn't have a huge following, but it had a very dedicated following.
It was a good show.
Okay. Yeah, it was an excellent show. I loved it. I actually wrote a Farscape novel when the show was on the air, and did a couple of short stories for the Farscape magazine and for the Farscape role-playing game.
Did you do that as fan fiction, or were you
No, these were official.
Pitching it?
Yeah, no, these were official, you know, licensed by the Jim Henson Company.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was on the strength of that, actually, that I got this gig. Because both Rockne O'Bannon and David Kemper, who was the executive producer of the show, and the people at the Jim Henson Company all loved what I did with it. So it was a good fit, and Rockne actually lobbied for me to be the scripter to work with him.
Okay.
So, and it's been a great relationship. But like I said, for the first year we just did 4-issue miniseries we weren't even sure we were going to do a second miniseries. We want to try that first, see if it worked. First issue sold out in a day. Boom was like, okay, yes, we want more, please. So we did 2 more miniseries, and they were successful enough that we transitioned to an ongoing series for the second year. As we record this, the final story arc of the first year, which is called Compulsions, is just starting up. Issue 9 came out at the end of July. Issue 12 will end that storyline, and then for the 3rd year, we're doing one big story. Okay. It's called The War for the Uncharted Territories. It's going to be one big 12-issue story.
Wow.
Yeah, that is going to be this major event that's going to involve the entire Farscape universe in this one Jugunda story. So that's what we're doing for the
By the way, did you hear that? A Jugunda story.
Yes.
Only Italians actually use that and know what it means. Yes. That's awesome, by the way.
Well, it's kind of obvious what Jugunda means.
Absolutely.
Just from the word.
When used in context, it's absolutely obvious. But
I just talked about a one-year story.
Our 4 Albanian fans are out there sharpening their knives. Jugunda, huh?
Which show you my Jugunda knife.
We have to absolutely thank Ramon's mom for making. How do you say this?
Aroconduce.
What he said. It's basically like a big-ass Rice Krispie treat with sugar and raisins in it. It's delicious.
And we now all have diabetes.
Yeah. Yes. Just from the sugar intake. It's fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, good stuff.
Oh, also.
Speaking of diabetes.
Oh, also.
Speaking of diabetes, that's an odd segue.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Somebody say something. What the fuck?
Ultimate Spider-Man.
There you go.
That's all the way on the bottom.
Actually, what I was going to say is this. In continuing questions, you got any words for any aspiring writers out there? I mean, the internet lets everybody just blow their fucking brains out on the net, but for those who actually want to break into the medium the traditional way, I mean...
There is no traditional way to enter the medium. I mean, you ask any 10 writers how they broke into the industry, you'll get 12 different stories.
Most of them involving blowjobs. I want to hear how you did it.
Mine did not involve a blowjob.
Good show.
Actually, the way I got it, the way I broke in is completely non-replicable. Most of my work has been in prose, most of what I've done. I've written a lot of, like with the Farscape comics, it's tie-in fiction, so like Star Trek novels, Buffy novels, World of Warcraft novels, supernatural novels, stuff like that. Stuff that's based on TV shows or video games or comic books or whatever. My first short story was actually a Spider-Man short story, which was a collaboration. It was actually for an anthology ironically called The Ultimate Spider-Man. This was before The Ultimate Universe came out. This was, like I said, this was back in '94, so it was like 5 or 6 years before they started that up. And the company I was working for, Byron Price, had the license to do Marvel stuff. We kicked off with, I was an editor working for Byron at the time, we kicked off with a Spider-Man novel written by Diane Duane. It was a hardcover novel called The Venom Factor, and the anthology, The Ultimate Spider-Man. And we'd finished Diane's novel, we had most of the stories for the anthology. We'd already done the cover. Cover was a framed image of Spider-Man in the middle and then 4 villains in the corner. We had Dr. Octopus, the Vulture, the Lizard, and Venom. This is 1994 when Venom was like at the height of his popularity.
He was everywhere.
So we had to have a Venom story, partly because he was the most popular villain at the time and partly because he was on the fucking cover. So we tried to pitch a Venom story. We pitched 6 different Venom stories by 6 different writers. Marvel rejected all of them because Marvel had to approve everything, obviously. And finally we said, what do you want? They gave us a sentence. At this point, we're past the 11th hour, so me and the editor I was working with, John Betancourt, we didn't have time to assign it to anybody, so we just wrote it ourselves. I wrote one draft, I gave it to him, he tore it apart, rewrote it from the ground up, gave it back to me, I tore it apart and rewrote it from the ground up, and that was my first short story sale.
Nicely done.
From working, it was because I was working as an editor on a license and we needed a story real fast.
When you said it was something completely, undoable again, irreplicable, how did you say that?
Non-replicable.
There you go.
Which I think is a word I made up. But
it's a good word either way. I thought it was probably going to have something to do with saving some editor's life, probably like Tom DeFalco or something from like vampires.
No.
Because, like that's going to be hard to do.
Yeah. Very hard to do. Actually, honestly, Tom's tough. He can take the vampires himself.
Keith's a black belt just like me and Steve, so we know he can take some vampires out.
Probably.
These guys, maybe not so much.
No, but for a small fee, we'd save them.
And you also did the Tomater books, which are...
Yeah, they just relaunched the Cars comic.
Is it from Disney?
It's also Boom Studios.
Okay.
Boom has a deal with Disney. They're actually doing Pixar comics.
It's kind of like everybody has a deal with Disney.
Yeah, really. Boom, a year ago, I think, maybe 2 years ago, a while ago, Boom got the rights to do a very large encompassing deal with Disney that includes the Pixar properties, the Muppet properties, and the classic Disney characters. So they're doing a bunch of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge type comics.
And Darkwing Duck, which we can't find anywhere.
Really?
It's sold out everywhere.
Oh man, that at San Diego, we had a variant cover for Darkwing Duck #1, which was based on the Dark Knight cover. The silhouette and the lightning bolt and everything.
Oh my god!
And we sold out of it completely. We had like 500 copies, all 500 of them sold. The most common question people asked when they walked up to the booth were, when is Mark Waid signing, when is Claudio Sanchez signing, and where's the Darkwing Duck cover? Those were the three big questions.
I'll bet you that shit's on eBay right now for like $100. I am absolutely gonna look for it. What's up, everybody? Pete from the basement back again. Want to talk to you real quick about DreamHost.com. If you're looking to build a web page for yourself, no matter what it is, I highly recommend you check these guys out. You get unlimited email accounts, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited disk space, so you can make the page as big as you freaking want it to be. All of this at only $9 a month. You really can't go wrong. If you use the special Pete's Basement code that should be appearing on the bottom of the screen right now, you get $50 off your first order, guys. DreamHost.com. Thank you for your great service, and thanks for hosting Pete's Basement. Check them out, guys. DreamHost.com! We're done.
The best part was, the last part, the person who bought copy number 500, James Silvani, who did the artwork, happened to be at the booth at the time when they bought it, so he signed it for him. Right. As he's signing it, Ian Brill, the writer of the comic, happened to come back to the booth. And then, oh crap, I forgot his name. The guy who created Darkwing Duck was at the convention, Todd something.
Todd Darkwing of the Long Island Darkwing.
That's right. And
after the war.
Right. Yeah.
Old country.
He came over to the table. Right, like 2 minutes later, and then he signed it. It was like the perfect one of those.
All this guy needed was a CGC representative.
Pretty
at that
much,
point.
yeah. But anyway, so the Boom's license covers also the Pixar films. They've been doing The Incredibles, Cars, Toy Story, and so on. And they just relaunched the Cars comic with the subtitle Adventures